Alright, let's do this. Alright, YouTube, I woke up at an astounding 8 o'clock. Went back to bed. You know, I went back to bed. I thought I'd put an alarm on. Wake up in half an hour. Because I'd felt well rested. Woke up at 10. I'll eat while making the video, so, you know. I wrote some notes on a napkin. I don't want to sit here and just talk about my day and shit. Like, yeah, I've got a day to do. And I'm running a bit late. It is what it is. I think I'm particularly hungry today because last night I ate really late, but I didn't eat a lot. I think earlier in the day I ate too, but I didn't eat a lot, You know, I was starving last night, and this feels good right now. The message of the video might devalue if I just constantly eat over it, but I'll tell you what, I'll stop. The whole point of this video, and I don't want to come across as hypermasculine and, you know, that type of thing, is like, the idea I had yesterday is like, do it for the love of the game, right? Do it for the love. Do it because it means something to you. And the hardships will, won't have enough strength, you know, to overcome that. And I don't want to yap on about it, but I really have to mean this. For me, personally, I'm in the middle of a really busy, struggling time. And I think I'm struggling to work out what it is that I'm going to have to do. You know, I got like a project that needs done, and I just can't quite seem to find the love for it, the motivation for it. There's another project way bigger, but demanded way down the line. I'm just thinking about like possibly maybe switching up the project, because I think I might do some nature writing and new nature writing, and I don't know, but that's not the point. The point I wanted to make when I was on the video, the reason why I have this thing here is, I think I only put 2 points down. The first point said, your love must outdo the hardships, which is so true, really. Now I see and I know that I have my hardships, right? Whether it be time crunches, the amount of work, the difficulty of said work, the quality of said work. These and many other different things always get in the way. They always do. But I'm trying to remember something. Obviously, we all know that the idea that something hard is worth fighting for, right? And something easy is just not so much. But, and I don't want to be like, your love must outdo the hardships and focus on the hardship. Because a lot of people have focused on the hardships, you know? Especially when it comes to that hyper masculine stuff, right? You can go online and let me just try and run a couple of names off my head. You know, you can go and see that, like a bunch of Mike Tyson clips of him being rugged and gruff, and you can see Andrew Tate veins of him just saying words. Well, not anymore because obviously he's deed. On internet basis, anyways. You know, and there's so much emphasis on it's hard, and that sort of like reactionary, distinctly reactionary attitude, which then creates their actions. And I don't think it's a love of the game thing. I think they see the hardships and they just they have this sort of attitude in which they think that the very hardship in battle creates like an honorable victory, you know, like a man wouldn't fight a chicken, but a lion, he would put his heart and soul into the fight. I mean, some of them would run away, and I don't blame them. I would too. This is about the love. It's about the love, right? Because right now, if you could see the view that I have, my entire desk is full of this stuff. You know, not to show off, but this like my entire desk is full of my life, essentially. That's what I'm saying. And my life has stories. You know, timetabled. You know, I got my calendar up there. I've got all my books that are here, and all my books of things I need to do, and you know, and on my laptop I've got all my Word docs with the stories, you know, and as any normal human does. And none of this is present. None of this is here because of any reason other than love. If I didn't love it, it wouldn't be a thing in my life. I wouldn't put time and effort into having books there, you know, having timetables there, actively creating ideas, actively trying to go out my way to live this life to the best, you know? Why would I do this and really mean it if I didn't love it, essentially? Like for me it's quite simple, you know? Before November last year, I wasn't very much of a poetry guy. Obviously, I interacted with poetry, obviously. But I was always so scared to produce it, you know, especially in like 2021, 22. I was so scared to produce poetry, and now I make it a thing every day to write a poem. And that's not because I'm flexing, that's not because I'm a poet or anything like that. It's purely based on the love of the game. I can see how something I'd once saw as extremely difficult, and something I'd once saw as beyond my level, I have and do continue to go towards it and get to it, because I don't care about the level anymore. I care more about the love, and through that journey of hardships, I've it's foundationally accepted that okay, I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care what the difficulties are. I'm not focusing on the difficulties. I love this game. I love it. You know, let me just do this little shout out. I'd finished this notebook last night. Mind you, a couple of the poems I finished on were fucking bangers, and then I finished off in like a fart. So I'm now working with a new book. Sick, right? Sick. Woo! New notebook. That's because of the love. I love the game. I love the poetry, so I'm making it a point, you know? I love writing, so I make it a point to have it in my every day. Every day. Maybe not every day. Sometimes I have a bit of a spoof. But, you know, I think if you were to approach something, anything, and you do it because of how hard it is. Take, for example, the biggest denouncers, the men who purposely undergo so much hardship, being the monastics. Monastics of any religion, even if you take the Buddhist monastics, you know, who encased and entombed themselves and starved themselves so they could die. Like, they didn't do any of that because of the sake of the hardship, I don't feel. You know, I can't see that. And obviously when you go particularly the Christian monastics, the Abrahamic philosophy in that makes it a bit clearer that it's out of love. I'm not too much of a Buddhist myself. So I don't, you know, I'm not aware. I'm not locked in like that, you know. But what these people do is they undergo hardship because of love. The hardship is a byproduct of them trying to increase love, them trying to always be in vision and in view and focusing on love, you know. And that's what this writing's gonna be like for me. You know, it just is, because that's the life. You're trying to get to a higher level all the time because you love it, because you're always trying to get to the pinnacle of it. You're always trying to get to the pinnacle of it because you love it, and you're always trying to encase yourself in it, right? You're always trying to envelop yourself in it because you love it so much. You just want it in your life completely, right? In the same way that when you love a woman, you don't just say let's see each other every Saturday and just start mingle. You say, I want to see you every single day. I want you in my life. I want you in my day-to-day life. I want you in my routine. I love you so much. I want to make a family. I want to start a life together. And that's what you do. You marry these things. I married a woman. You know, when you get baptized and stuff, that's a marriage. When you when you take your work and stuff, when you dedicate your years and your life to it, you're marrying yourself to your work. What are they doing? But I'm saying I'm marrying myself to the work. What are they actually saying? No. Yeah. I'm willingly choosing to marry myself to this writing because I love it so much. Do it for the love. Not do it for the love because of hardships this, hardships that. Not, oh, it's X amount of difficult, or like, when it gets hard, remember to do it for the love. Just, no, I think my point here is simply, whatever you do, let it be out of love. Let it be out of admiration, care, kindness. Let it be out of love. You know? I write most certainly because when I write, I get to dedicate work and I get to put myself in a really intentional mode and state, and I get to create. I really get to feel me and be me. And there's some beautiful things in that. And there's more, obviously. I don't want to go into all the reasons. If you don't wake up, in my belief, if you don't wake up every day and live your life, because sandpaper, give us a minute. Sandpaper. If you don't wake up every day and choose to do it, choose to interact with life because you want to be here, and you're just going through the motions, I know how that feels like, I know how that feels like. It's not even monotonous or tedious, those aren't the words, it's not worth it, For example, waking up every single day, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock even, getting the bus to hit that 9 o'clock shift, to work till 11 at night. You start with a clean kitchen, you end with a clean kitchen. Through that you go through a fucking mess. And you come home. And it's every single day, and you're not doing anything because you love it. You're just doing it because the rota says so. Just do it because you love it, Whatever it is. Find that thing you do truly, deeply love. Ineffably. Which is why I can't quite put this into words in the video. Find that thing that you ineffably love, that brings you so much peace and joy. Work-wise. the dedication of hours and effort that you can put in. And do that. Because that is important. That is, in my opinion, the most important thing to do on this earth. Obviously, I could go to so many different regions and talk about so many different topics of other things, but you really need to find that thing that you want to wake up for. Personally, this is where I find it in my life difficult, because if I were to wake up every day and pray and do all sorts of things, but every single day in my life I just lived a life that I hate, I'd be very resentful towards God. I'd be really resentful towards my family, everyone, because I'd think, yeah, I love everyone, but fuck me, I hate this. I hate this life. I hate this process. I hate what I have to do. I'm not doing what I love. Do it out of love. The second point, what did I write? Pressure makes diamonds. Yeah, simply enough, right? Because you do it out of love, it's gonna be hard. Because you do it out of love doesn't mean. And here's the thing that I'm trying to navigate. I had that girl come up to me in that writing group one time and ask me if she could genuinely be a writer, if she was capable of being a writer. And I very much told her, absolutely, it's possible. But the mindset I had then, which I still hold to now, obviously I can hold to multiple different mindsets, is that then when I told her, I interacted with her on a basis of, you absolutely can, because writing is fun, writing is happy, writing is life, writing is cool and interesting, and it's something I love deeply, and absolutely. Do it because you love it, obviously. And I wouldn't say there's a but there, but it's the only word I can use necessarily to transition. Or I could put a paragraph line, a little paragraph break. Okay, no, I'm paragraph breaking. Anything that you do love in life will always have difficulties. You fight with your loved ones. You argue with your boyfriend, girlfriend, your wife, your husband. You find it difficult to wake up in the morning. I find it difficult to wake up this morning, and I love life, but I still find it difficult to wake up. Because you love something, it will naturally be harder, because the attention and focus on its qualities will be exemplified. And by that I mean that the negatives also will be exemplified, because the amount of time you spend writing will be unbelievable. You'll love it and you'll enjoy it, way more than when you were doing it as a kid. But the time you don't spend writing, and the time you spend actively doing things you don't want to do and you disagree with, when you're a hypocrite and so on, you'll feel that doubt, you'll feel that regret, you'll feel that pain, because it's diametrically opposite to that life you want to live. Whereas, still holding the sandwich, by the way, when you've got that life you want to live and you live it, heavenly. When you've got that life you want to live, especially out of love, and you don't, it's like you're away from love. You're away from what you hold dear. You've put yourself in the depths, into hell, mentally. And that is the pressure makes diamonds. Is you're always feeling that pull from the negative. Because I don't know about you guys, but there's always laziness, there's always the thought of giving up, there's always so many multitudes of negatives that pull you away from that life you want to live. Let's use a sandwich as an example. It always pulls you away from that life you want to live. But that hardships is in you resisting that gravity and always striving to get to that thing you love and holding on for dear life. And that strength that you have all throughout that motion, all throughout that journey, is with a smile. Whether it's through gritted teeth, whether it dimmers sometimes, whatever it might be, You always doing it with a smile because you always do it out of supreme love. Supreme love. That's the whole one must imagine Sisyphus happy, right? But you're not rolling back. You obviously are. You may, you know, one finds, one struggles again. You know, you're always feeling that temptation, feeling that gravity towards the negative, towards giving up, towards less effort, you know. But putting that extra 10 minutes, that extra hour, you know, just that your whole day, rather than giving up, really going for that out of love. You can sit here, you know, and I'm trying to imagine this as my career as a writer. And to sit back here and be lazy, I like the thought of sitting in all day and just eating and watching some videos and stuff. And it's windy and rainy outside. But you must. I love it, and I love it enough to die for it. That's martyrdom. You know? That's martyrdom. I love it enough to go through the pain for it. That's true love. Love is not comfort. Love is the willingness to go through pain, to be with someone. And that is what it's about. Always feeling that gravity of being pulled away from that one you love. But that pain is a byproduct of your will to always want to be close. So always do it out of love and always embrace the pain. Not as in like embrace the pain, but always embrace the pain as, and I don't know how to explain this. This is where the video gets lost on me mentally. But there's a way of embracing the pain that's ineffable, to where I don't think about the pain. I don't think about the negative. It's always just, I want to be a writer. I want to write. I need this. And that's out of the love. Because I have the love. I have the ineffable, the supreme, the enlightened, the constant desire to just keep being with it. Every day. And that's the point of this video. Always do it because you love it, and love it, really love it, and you know what it's like to love it. And doing something you love, that's the best feeling. I've waffled on. Have a good day.